She thought she made it out, until the federal envelope hit her doorstep. Tasha K really believed this chapter was closed. The bankruptcy paperwork was signed. The monthly payment plan was locked. The lawyers had moved on. And for one quiet second, it looked like she actually pulled it off. Then May 6th happened. And whatever Tasha K thought she got away with just blew up in her face. Because Cardi B didn't just come back. Cardi B came back with a federal filing, a brand new courthouse, a brand new state, and a brand new list of names. And one of those names is sleeping in Tasha K's bed every single night. Y'all, this is not the same lawsuit. This is not the same playbook. This is not a recycled headline. Cardi B opened a door nobody saw coming. And what fell out of it is going to make Tasha K wish she had just paid that $1.5 million when she had the chance. Stay locked in, because by the time I'm done breaking this down, you are going to understand exactly why insiders are saying Tasha K's husband is now the real target, and why a Georgia house deed is about to become the loudest piece of evidence in this entire case. Okay, you guys, so let me just say this on the record before we go any further. Everybody out here keeps telling the story wrong. Everybody keeps screaming, Cardi B is broke. Cardi B is desperate. Cardi B is chasing Tasha K for crumbs because the tort ain't pay. Girl, stop. Stop talking. That is not what is happening here. That theory is for people who didn't read the docket. Because if you actually open the federal complaint that dropped on May 6th in South Florida, and I do mean federal, not state, not Georgia, federal, what Cardi just filed is not a money grab. It is a surgical strike. And the target isn't Tasha K anymore. The target is the people standing behind Tasha K. The ones who thought they were invisible. The ones who thought a different last name on a shell company would save them. Cardi just kicked the curtain down. And what's standing back there is messy. Now let me set the scene properly, because half of y'all are going to scroll TikTok in 20 minutes and act like you already knew this. You did not. The streets are saying, and by streets I mean the legal documents themselves, exhibit are right there in the PDF, that Tasha K and her husband Cheickna Kebe have been running not one, but two parallel schemes since the original defamation judgment hit them in Georgia. Two. Not one. Two. And the way Cardi's lawyers laid this out, it reads like a true crime financial thriller. It reads like somebody sat in a room with a whiteboard and a marker and traced every dollar Tasha K touched after that gavel came down. And that, right there, is why this filing is different. This isn't emotional. This isn't petty. This is a paper trail. So buckle in. Scheme number 1. Cardi's complaint alleges what's called a successor liability, mere continuation scheme. In plain English, Tasha K's old company, Kebe Studios, was the one that got hit with the giant defamation judgment. So Kebe Studios, on paper, is supposed to owe that money. But then, conveniently, magically, suspiciously, on May 31st of 2022, a brand new company suddenly appears. Yelen Entertainment LLC. Same business, same content, same revenue streams, same management contracts, same talent, and that talent, by the way, is Tasha K herself. The complaint says Yelen Entertainment basically swallowed the entire Kebe Studios business, operations, going concern value, every single income line, without paying 1 cent of what Kebe Studios owed Cardi. Exhibit A, Your Honor. You don't get to bankrupt the company on Monday and open the exact same company on Tuesday with a new name and a new tax ID and call yourself a free woman. That is not how this works. That is not how this has ever worked. And the federal court is being asked to declare that Yelen is a successor and an alter ego of Kebe Studios. If that declaration goes through, game over. Yelen pays. But wait, we are not done. We are nowhere near done. Because scheme number 1 is just the warm-up. Scheme number 2? That one is personal. The complaint calls it a personal income diversion scheme. And here is where Tasha K's husband walks straight into the spotlight whether he likes it or not. According to the federal filing, after the personal judgment was entered against Tasha K, not the company, her personally, $3.3 million with her name on it, somebody started moving things around. Her salary? Rerouted. Her bank accounts? Access switched. Her assets? Shifted. All in a pattern that the lawyers describe as designed for one purpose and one purpose only. To make sure that when Cardi's team came looking with a garnishment order in their hand, the cupboard would be bare. There would be nothing to grab, nothing to attach, nothing to levy, just empty accounts and shrugged shoulders. Honey, that is allegedly fraudulent transfer. That is allegedly a civil conspiracy. That is allegedly veil-piercing territory. And in federal court, those words don't just hurt. Those words ruin lives. Now here is where I need you to sit up. Because I'm about to drop the line in this complaint that legal Twitter has been screenshotting for 48 hours straight. Less than 1 month, after the original defamation judgment was entered against Tasha K, she transferred her interest in a residential property in Georgia. To who? to her husband. For what? Allegedly without real consideration. Meaning, in plain people English, she gave the man the house. For nothing. Right after she lost a multi-million-dollar judgment. Right after she got hit with a check she couldn't write. The math is not mathing. The timing is not timing. And it gets worse. The complaint claims that Tasha K admitted under oath, under OATH, in a deposition, on a record that does not lie, that certain steps were taken to help avoid garnishment. Read that again. She allegedly said it, out loud, in a sworn proceeding. That one sentence alone is the entire reason this federal lawsuit had to exist. That one sentence is the receipt. And Cardi's lawyers are not going to let anyone forget she said it. And I know what some of y'all are about to say. Tisa, Cardi already won. She got her bankruptcy plan. Tasha is paying $1.5 million in installments. Move on. Touch grass. No, absolutely not. Because here is the part most of these gossip channels skipped, and I cannot believe they skipped it. The judge in the original case did not cap Cardi at $1.5 million. That number was a settlement floor inside a Chapter 11 reorganization. Cardi's actual exposure on the books is much bigger than that. The new federal complaint breaks the numbers out like a receipt at the bottom of an Amazon order. $2.8 million against Kebe Studios. $3.3 million against Tasha K personally. A combined judgment exposure of $3.8 million. And that is exclusive of further interest, which has been quietly piling up like dishes in a sink. You add interest, add fees, add the contempt sanctions that just hit Tasha K earlier this same month for allegedly violating the settlement and posting more disgusting lies that the judge already told her to take down. And suddenly we are not talking about $1.5 million anymore. We are knocking on $4 million's door. And every single dollar of that is what Cardi is now allegedly chasing through Yelen Entertainment, through the husband, through every name on this filing. Oh, by the way, and this is a rehook, because if you've made it this far you need to remember this. A judge already found Tasha K in contempt. This month, May, the same month this new federal complaint dropped. Different proceeding, same defendant, same problem. Tasha K posting things the court already told her to take down. The judge ordered the videos removed. The judge made Tasha K cover Cardi's attorney's fees. The judge basically said, on the record, you are not following the agreement you signed. Now imagine being a federal judge in South Florida, opening a new case, and the first thing you read about the defendant is another judge in another state just sanctioned her for allegedly breaking the deal she made with this exact same plaintiff. That is not a vibe. That is not a vibe you want walking into your courtroom. That, my friends, is what they call prior bad acts, and prior bad acts have a way of coloring everything that comes next. Now let me read y'all the menu, because the menu of legal causes of action in this complaint is insane. We're talking, and stay with me here, I'll translate as I go, fraudulent transfer, constructive fraudulent transfer, successor liability, mere continuation, alter ego, veil piercing, civil conspiracy, declaratory relief, and a constructive trust. That is 9 separate legal theories in one complaint against one woman and her circle. Translation: fraudulent transfer means you moved property to dodge a debt. Constructive fraudulent transfer is the version where you didn't even need to mean to dodge it. You just didn't get fair value, and the timing makes you look guilty. Successor liability means the new company is responsible for the old company's debts. Mere continuation means the new company is basically just a costume change on the old company. Alter ego means the corporation isn't really separate from the human being running it. You and the LLC are one and the same. Veil piercing means the court can reach right through the LLC and grab your personal stuff. Civil conspiracy means a group of people agreed to do this together. Declaratory relief is when you ask the court to officially declare something is true. And constructive trust is the cherry. It means the court can say, everything you transferred, it was never really yours. We're holding it in trust for the person you tried to dodge. 9 theories. 9. Cardi's lawyers are not playing checkers. They are playing chess in a courtroom, and they brought an entire opening book. Now what is Cardi actually asking the federal court to do? This is the part where it gets real. She is asking, number 1, for the court to avoid the transfers, meaning legally undo them, like they never happened. Pretend the house transfer never happened. Pretend the salary rerouting never happened. Pretend Yelen Entertainment isn't a different company. Snap. Reversed. She is asking, number 2, for a money judgment against the defendants, which now includes Yelen and Cheickna Kebe personally. She is asking, number 3, for a formal declaration that Yelen is the successor of Kebe Studios. She is asking, number 4, for a declaration that Yelen is also the alter ego of Cheickna Kebe. And that one matters because if Yelen is the alter ego of the husband, then the husband's personal assets just became fair game too. She is asking, number 5, for a constructive trust over the transferred assets, so anything that was moved is frozen and held for her. And finally, and this one is petty in the best way, she is asking for an injunction blocking any further transfers. Meaning if Tasha K or her husband or anybody connected so much as tries to sell a single piece of furniture out of that Georgia house between now and trial, they are violating a federal court order. The cage is closing. Slowly, quietly, methodically. But here is where it gets technical. And this is the part the other gossip channels are absolutely going to butcher, so let me give it to you straight. There is a bankruptcy wrinkle. Tasha K is in Chapter 11. When you are in Chapter 11, normally there is something called an automatic stay that protects you from being sued. So how is Cardi filing a new lawsuit against people connected to Tasha right now? Because the complaint explicitly states it is being filed consistently with the confirmation order in Tasha's Chapter 11 case. Translation? When the bankruptcy court approved Tasha's reorganization plan, that confirmation order, allegedly, preserved Cardi's right to sue in debtor third parties. People like Yelen Entertainment. People like Cheickna Kebe. The husband is not in bankruptcy. Yelen is not in bankruptcy. So they don't get the stay. They don't get the shield. They are wide open. And on top of that, the filing also notes Cardi intends to seek further bankruptcy court relief before pushing the new case all the way to final judgment, which is a fancy lawyer way of saying, we are coordinating between two courts to make sure no procedural loophole saves you. Y'all, they thought about this. They thought hard about this. This wasn't a Tuesday afternoon idea. This was months of preparation. Cardi's legal team has been mapping this out since the bankruptcy plan was confirmed earlier this year. And here's a piece of new information most people missed. Just a few days before this federal complaint dropped, Cardi B's legal team had already issued subpoenas. Yes, plural. To Yelen Entertainment LLC and to another entity called Stash Media Works LLC. They were already digging. They were already pulling financial documents. They were already mapping every shell, every transfer, every connection. So by the time the federal complaint was filed on May 6th, this wasn't a fishing expedition. This was the harpoon. The subpoenas were the sonar. The complaint was the kill shot. And honey, that is why insiders close to the case are saying, and I want to be careful here, this is alleged, that there is way more in the file than the public has seen. Sealed exhibits, bank records, cross-referenced LLC formations. The kind of evidence that, if you are on the wrong side of it, you don't sleep at night. You don't sleep at all. And let me come back to my original point, because I refuse to let the narrative get twisted. The argument that Cardi is doing this because she's broke is, frankly, insulting to anyone who understands basic math. If Cardi B needed money, she would not be chasing Tasha K, period. Because the simple reality is, if Tasha K had money lying around, she would have written the check a long time ago. There would be nothing for Cardi to collect because Tasha would have already paid. The fact that Cardi is still chasing means Tasha still doesn't have it readily available, at least not in places Cardi's team can reach, which is the entire point of this new lawsuit. Cardi isn't chasing the money because she needs it. Cardi is chasing the money because Tasha K, allegedly, tried to play her. And Cardi B does not, let me say that again, does not get played. The tour was sold out. Her music is charting. The brand deals are still coming. This is not about cash flow. This is about consequences. This is about the principle that you do not get to sit on a YouTube channel for years, allegedly tell lies about a woman, get sued, lose, file bankruptcy, post even more lies after the settlement, get held in contempt, and then quietly transfer your house to your husband and walk away whistling. Nope. Nope. Try again. And here is the angle nobody is talking about. The angle that has lawyers, gossip channels, and content creators sweating right now if they were paying attention. This case sets a precedent. A real one. If Cardi B successfully claws back assets through a successor liability theory against a gossip blogger's spouse, that is a roadmap. That is a literal published roadmap for every celebrity who has ever been defamed by a YouTube channel. And there are a lot of them. There are so many of them. Right now, every entertainment attorney in Atlanta, every defamation specialist in Los Angeles, every PR crisis team in New York, they are reading this complaint and taking notes. Because the message it sends to the gossip industry is brutal. You can't hide behind your LLC anymore. You can't hide behind your bankruptcy anymore. You can't hide behind your husband anymore. The veil is not real if the judge says it's not. And once the judge says it's not, every dollar you ever made on the back of that defamation is up for grabs. Insiders are whispering that if Cardi wins this round, you are about to see a wave of celebrity versus gossip channel lawsuits hit the federal docket within 12 months. A wave. Because right now there is a playbook on the table, and lawyers do love a playbook. But back to the husband. Because I really want to focus on Cheickna Kebe for a second. Because in every gossip story like this, there is always one person who flies under the radar, until they don't. And Cheickna has been flying under the radar for years. He has been described in court filings as Tasha K's husband and as someone connected to her business operations. But now he is named in a federal complaint, named as a defendant, named as someone who allegedly received transferred assets, named as someone whose company is being accused of being a mere continuation of his wife's bankrupted studio. That is a different reality than the one he was living in last week. Because last week he was just the husband. This week he is a defendant in a federal civil case being prosecuted by the legal team of one of the biggest rappers on the planet. Do you understand the energy shift? Do you understand the legal bills that are about to land on his desk? Do you understand what it means when your name is on the docket? Not your wife's, not the LLC's, but yours? It means depositions. It means discovery. It means somebody is about to ask him, under oath, exactly when that Georgia house was transferred to him, why it was transferred, what he paid for it, and what he knew about his wife's pending judgment when the deed got signed. And whatever he answers, that answer is going to live forever. So what are Tasha K's options at this point? Honestly, limited and shrinking. Option 1. She fights this on the merits. She hires expensive federal litigators. She shows up to every hearing. She contests every transfer. She argues Yelen is a legitimately separate company. She argues the Georgia house transfer was for real consideration that just wasn't documented well. She argues the bank account changes were normal business reorganization. That option is going to cost her. I am not exaggerating, hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees on top of whatever she already owes. And if she loses, she pays it all back in the $4 million exposure and attorney's fees for Cardi's team. Option 2, she settles. She picks up the phone, she calls Cardi's lawyers, and she says, "What do we need to do to make this go away?" The problem with that option is that, allegedly, Cardi has already tried to settle. There was already a Chapter 11 plan. Tasha already negotiated. Tasha already agreed. And then, allegedly, Tasha kept posting things. Allegedly, the contempt order this month proves the settlement framework is broken. So Cardi's team is not in a settling mood. They are in a let's go all the way mood. Option 3, Tasha files for some kind of additional bankruptcy protection or argues the new case is barred by the bankruptcy. The complaint preemptively addresses that, citing the confirmation order. So that lane looks narrow too. Honestly, the cleanest path for Tasha K right now is what the legal world calls creative cooperation. Translation: she makes a deal, she opens the books voluntarily, she gives Cardi what's owed, and she walks away with a public apology and a lighter bank account. Will she do that? History says no. Tasha K has never been known for de-escalation. So we are probably going to watch this thing burn for another 2 years. Now let me tell you what's happening online while this filing is making the rounds. The gossip Twitter/X timeline has been electric. Screenshots of the complaint are everywhere. Legal commentators are pulling up the docket numbers. People who have followed this case since 2019, and bless your hearts, that's a lot of you, are saying they always knew this day would come. Because everybody could see what was happening. Everybody could see that the original judgment was so big it was practically uncollectible through normal means. Everybody could see that an asset shuffle would eventually become public. The question was never if. The question was when and how loud. Well, the answer to how loud is now. Federal court loud. South Florida jurisdiction loud. 9 causes of action loud. And insiders close to the gossip blogger space. And again, this is alleged, this is what people are saying. Are whispering that other YouTube personalities who built channels on the same defamation and dodge model are quietly checking with their own attorneys this week. Quietly, discreetly, but checking. Because if Cardi wins, the whole genre changes. And let's talk psychology for 1 second, because I think this is genuinely interesting. Why does Cardi keep pushing? Why doesn't she just take the $1.5 million from the bankruptcy plan and move on with her life? 3 reasons, and I think they're all real. Reason 1, she made a promise. She said publicly, on multiple occasions, that she would not let this go. She said it on Instagram Live. She said it in interviews. She said it under oath. And Cardi B is many things, but she is not the kind of person who walks back something she promised in front of millions of people. That's not the brand. Reason 2, there's a legacy element. Cardi has a daughter. Cardi has sons. She is building a name, an estate, an inheritance. And part of that legacy, in her own words, is the message that you cannot lie about my mama and get away with it. That's a story she's writing in real time. Reason 3, and this is the one that gets less attention, it's about the genre. It's about gossip culture itself. There has been an enormous, decade-long boom in YouTube gossip channels where people sit in front of a webcam and say whatever they want about whoever they want, and then hide behind, "I'm just commentary. I'm just discussing public information. This is just my opinion." Cardi's legal team has, allegedly, been very deliberate from day one about wanting to set a marker, about wanting to say, there is a line, and if you cross it, the legal consequences will follow you through bankruptcy, through corporate restructuring, through your marriage, through everything. That marker is being set right now, in federal court, in Florida, in a complaint dated May 6th. So what happens next? Procedurally, here is the timeline. The defendants, Yelen Entertainment, Cheickna Kebe, and any other parties named in the complaint, are going to be formally served. They have a window, typically 21 days in federal court, to file an answer or a motion to dismiss. Almost certainly, they will file a motion to dismiss first, arguing things like, "This case is barred by the bankruptcy stay. Florida is not the proper venue. The statute of limitations on some of these transfers may have run." Cardi's team will respond. The judge will rule. If the case survives the motion to dismiss, and given how tightly the complaint is drafted, it almost certainly will, at least in part. We move into discovery. And discovery, my friends, is where the carnage happens. Discovery means depositions of Tasha K, depositions of Cheickna Kebe, subpoenas to every bank, every accountant, every property records office, every business filing in every state where Yelen or Kebe Studios ever did anything. We are talking about potentially thousands of pages of financial documents being pulled into the open record, some of which will be sealed for confidentiality reasons, some of which will not. And the things that don't get sealed, they become public docket entries, which means gossip channels like the ones I just analyzed, will be reading every single line and reporting every single line to you. But here is the part one want to leave you with. The part nobody else is going to tell you because nobody else is reading the complaint carefully enough. There is a specific paragraph, and I'm not going to give you the exact paragraph number because I want you to go read it yourself. But there is a specific paragraph in this filing where Cardi's lawyers reserve the right to add additional defendants. Additional defendants. Translation? They are not done naming names. They have built a complaint that names the husband, names the new LLC, and then leaves the door open to name more people. People who haven't been publicly identified yet. People who might be accountants. People who might be business partners. People who might be silent investors in Yelen Entertainment. People who, right now, are reading this filing and realizing their name might be next. So if you are connected to Tasha K's business operations in any capacity, even loosely, this is allegedly the week to call your own lawyer. Because Cardi B's federal complaint is not a finished product. It is a living document. And the next version of it could have more names than this one. And finally, because every story like this deserves a real moment of pause, let me say what I actually think about all of this. I think we are watching a turning point in celebrity versus internet personality litigation. I think Tasha K, whether you agree with her content or not, became the test case for a legal theory that is going to outlive her channel. I think Cardi B, whether you love her music or not, just paid for an enormous amount of legal infrastructure that will, in the long run, benefit every public figure who has ever been the subject of a baseless online accusation. And I think, most importantly, I think the gossip blogger genre is about to learn a lesson it has been avoiding for a decade. That lesson is, speech is not consequence-free. Words have receipts. Receipts have invoices. And invoices, eventually, get paid. One way or another. So to everyone watching this case from the sidelines, the YouTubers, the bloggers, the commentary channels, the podcast hosts, pay attention. Take notes. Hire a lawyer if you haven't. Because the playbook just changed. May 6th, 2026. South Florida Federal Court. Cardi B versus Yelen Entertainment LLC and Cheickna Kebe. That is the date. That is the venue. That is the case. And whatever happens next, you are going to want to be the one telling the story, not the one defending against it. The streets warned everybody. The lawyers warned everybody. Cardi B herself warned everybody. Tasha K, allegedly, did not listen. And now the federal government, yes, federal, has a docket number to prove it. The cage is closing. The receipts are stacked. And the next chapter of this story is going to make every gossip channel on YouTube pick a side. Pick wisely. Because Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and Exhibit C are already in the court file. And by the time the judge rules, there is going to be Exhibit X, Y, and Z too. That's the story. That's the receipt. That's the chapter. And honey, we are nowhere near done. Now for the people who are just walking into this story, because I know some of y'all just clicked on this video, and you don't even remember what started all of this. Let me give you the express lane recap. 2019. That is the year Cardi B originally filed suit against Tasha K. The original beef? Tasha K had been making videos about Cardi for years, and Cardi alleged those videos crossed the line from commentary into defamation, including allegations that Cardi did certain things in her personal life that, according to the court, were not supported by any evidence and caused real harm. The case went to trial in Georgia in early 2022. The jury came back, and the jury did not play. They handed down a defamation verdict in favor of Cardi B that, with all the related findings, totaled in the neighborhood of $4 million. Tasha K appealed. Tasha K lost the appeal. Tasha K kept making content. Cardi B kept pushing for collection. And eventually, in a move that surprised exactly 0 people who had been watching this case closely, Tasha K filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The bankruptcy was supposed to be the off-ramp. The bankruptcy was supposed to be the way Tasha K reorganized, paid Cardi a fraction of what was owed, and walked away. And honestly, for a minute, it looked like that was going to work. The plan was confirmed. The payments were scheduled. Cardi was on the books to receive roughly $1.2 to $1.5 million over 5 years. Done. Finished. Closed chapter. Except, allegedly, it wasn't closed. Because allegedly Tasha K could not help herself. Allegedly, she kept posting. Allegedly, she kept saying things. And allegedly, the financial restructuring around her was a little too convenient. So Cardi's team, never the type to let a thing slide, started pulling threads. And every thread led to another thread. And every thread led to a name. And every name led to a transfer. And that, my friends, is how you get to a federal complaint dated May 6, 2026, sitting in a South Florida courthouse, naming a husband, naming an LLC, and listing 9 separate legal theories. That is the timeline. That is the receipts. That is how we got here. Now let me pull on one specific thread because, frankly, it haunts me. That sworn statement. The one where Tasha K allegedly admitted, and I am quoting the complaint here, that certain steps were taken to help avoid garnishment. I want you to imagine being a defense lawyer reading that sentence for the first time. I want you to imagine the silence that fell over that room. Because in a defamation case, you can argue intent. You can argue context. You can argue the First Amendment until you are blue in the face. But in a fraudulent transfer case, an admission like that is what lawyers call a smoking gun. It is the kind of statement that gets quoted in opening arguments. It is the kind of statement that gets printed on a poster board for the jury. It is the kind of statement that, frankly, ends cases before the trial even starts. And whoever advised Tasha K to say that, or to allow her to say that, is, I imagine, having a difficult week. Because once those words are in a deposition transcript, you do not get them back. You can clarify them. You can contextualize them. You can argue she meant something different. But the words exist. The words are on paper. The words are in the federal complaint, paraphrased and quoted and waved like a flag. And every single defendant in this case is going to have to answer for them, including, especially, the husband, who allegedly received the house deed less than 30 days after the original judgment. Less than 30 days. Honey, you cannot script timing like that. Now let me get to the part you really came for. The whispers. The rumors. The chatter from people who are allegedly close to people who are allegedly close to the case. Because I have been listening, and I have been collecting, and I have been comparing notes with people who watch this docket like it is their job. Here is what is being whispered, and I want to be very clear. This is alleged, this is speculation, this is not confirmed, but it is what is circulating. Whisper number 1. The federal filing is allegedly just the first of 2 or 3 planned legal actions. There is allegedly a separate enforcement action being prepared that focuses on YouTube monetization revenue specifically, because YouTube checks have a particular paper trail that, allegedly, has been moving through accounts the original judgment never reached. Whisper number 2. There are allegedly individuals connected to Tasha K's business operations who have, allegedly, already reached out to Cardi's team to cooperate in exchange for not being named as defendants. Cooperators. In a federal civil case. That is the kind of move you make when you can read the writing on the wall, and the wall is on fire. Whisper number 3. There is allegedly an additional property, not just the Georgia residential property already mentioned in the complaint, that is currently under review for potential inclusion in an amended filing. Where? Allegedly outside the United States. Where exactly? I am not going to speculate because I do not have receipts on that one. But it is being whispered, loudly, by people whose whispers I take seriously. And finally, whisper number 4, Cardi B's team has allegedly retained additional forensic accountants. Plural. Forensic. Accountants. That is not the move you make when you are settling. That is the move you make when you are building a case that you intend to litigate to the absolute final ruling. So buckle in. Because if the whispers are right, and they usually are right, in my experience, This is going to be a multi-year, multi-jurisdiction, multi-defendant legal war. And we are only at the opening kickoff. So what is my takeaway? My honest, sit-down, look-you-in-the-eye takeaway? The takeaway is that this case is no longer a celebrity gossip story. This case became a real, substantive, precedent-setting piece of civil litigation the moment it touched the federal court system. And what that means for you, the viewer, the consumer of gossip content, is that the way you consume content like this is going to change. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Because the channels that have built their business model on saying anything they want, with no fact-checking, no legal review, no editorial standards, those channels are going to feel the heat. Some of them will pivot. Some of them will rebrand. Some of them will quietly take down old videos. Some of them will get sued. And the channels that survive, the channels that you will be watching 5 years from now, are the channels that figure out how to be entertaining and careful, entertaining and accurate, entertaining and legally defensible. Because gossip is not going anywhere. The appetite for celebrity drama is bigger now than it has ever been. But the rules of the game are quietly being rewritten in federal courtrooms by plaintiffs like Cardi B, with complaints like the one that dropped on May 6th. So pay attention. Stay informed. Read the documents when you can. They are public, they are linked, they are free. And don't trust any single source. Cross-check. Compare. Think for yourself. Because the only thing more dangerous than a lie on the internet is a lie that millions of people repeat without ever checking. That is the whole reason this case exists in the first place. And before I go, because I cannot end this without one final cliffhanger, that is just not who I am. I want to leave you with one detail. One sentence. One small piece of the complaint that, honestly, has been bothering me since I first read it. The complaint references, and I am paraphrasing here so I do not misquote a federal filing, that there are additional financial movements that occurred after the original judgment, but before the bankruptcy filing. Additional movements, plural, meaning the Georgia House and the corporate restructuring and the salary rerouting are allegedly not the only transfers being scrutinized. There are more. There are more transactions. There are more dollars. There are more pieces of paper. And right now, those additional movements are being investigated, quietly, by Cardi's forensic accountants, with the help of subpoenas to banks and credit card companies and payment processors. And whatever they find, is going to end up in an amended complaint, or a second lawsuit, or a sealed exhibit, or all of the above. So the version of this story you are hearing today, it is the surface, it is the trailer, it is the cold open. The full film is being assembled, and by the time it premieres in a federal courtroom in South Florida, you are going to look back at this very video and say, oh, that was the warning. That was the warning shot. And I missed it. Don't miss it. The receipts are stacking. The whispers are getting louder. The federal docket number is real. And Tasha K, whether she wants to or not, is about to spend the next several years of her life answering for a chapter she allegedly thought she already closed. Spoiler alert, she did not close it. Cardi B never let her. Cardi B has been holding the pen this entire time. And Cardi B is not done writing. One last thing. Documents do not lie. They do not change stories when cameras turn on. The complaint Cardi B filed on May 6th is a public, searchable, downloadable piece of paper with a docket number, a case caption, and timestamps. Every word inside is now part of the permanent legal record. So when the rumors get muddy and the gossip channels spin, come back to the paper. The paper tells the story. The paper always wins. Cardi B versus Tasha K is no longer just a feud. This is a precedent forming.